I have a small horror film one that I was really mad at, and then I have a big blockbuster one that I was just like not feeling. So what is yours, a blockbuster?
That's what they wanted it to be.
Do you want to say it at the same time? I don't know.
Give us a countdown, James.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Alien
Spider-Man.
Covenant. See, Spider-Man wasn't so much a disappointment for me because I was kind of like, on seeing it anyways. But a lot of people are like, oh, it's so good, and I watched it and I was like, this is mediocre as fuck.
Oh man, I had my problems with Covenant, but I mean, I wouldn't say that it was any bigger of a disappointment than Prometheus was. And that's just my.
I get what you're saying.
My thought, like, Covenant was okay, but it could have been like they could have knocked it out of the park, and I feel like that's what people were expecting, and he still just kind of kept it like in the middle. Like there's, you know, like you were saying, the first half of the film is an alien film, and then all of a sudden it becomes Prometheus 2, and that sucks.
See, but this is why I hated it so much, is because I probably would have respected it more if it was a sequel to Prometheus.
Yeah.
Instead, it's kind of like, oh, Prometheus didn't work out because there's 1,000 plot holes in it, and people do dumb shit in horror movies.
So we're just gonna throw.
So we're just gonna make it an alien movie instead. But at the same time, the film wastes a really good supporting cast immediately.
Yeah.
James Franco's in the movie. Who would know? Oh, I have to go online and like watch these two like exclusive clips online. Fuck that. Like, if it's not in the movie, then you probably cut it for a reason.
Yeah.
The whole thing where Fassbender created the aliens. What kind of bullshit is that? Because he was bored. What the fuck? And someone correct me if I'm wrong, but when they go into that building or temple or whatever it is in Prometheus, isn't there like a, not a painting, but kind of like a carving of an alien on the wall?
Mural, yeah.
So like they obviously were around before this. So why is Ridley Scott trying to retcon it and say that Michael Fassbender created them because he was bored? He had nothing to do on this planet, so he was fucking around with biology and created some species of aliens that are deadly. That's I hated it. I hated it so much. I should have known better, because Prometheus was a huge letdown. But at least Prometheus was like swinging for the fences, trying to make like, yeah. They were trying to be deep with Prometheus. The whole premise of it was great. It was just they kept writing all kinds of dumb shit, and it was 1,000 plot holes, and that's why the movie doesn't work.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh, the movie didn't work because we're going to have a sequel that'll explain more, and that's why I was kind of like, okay, Alien Covenant, and then it just turned into a fucking alien movie.
They keep doing that. They try to. They're like, oh, Prometheus is going to be better because Covenant's coming, and Covenant's going to answer all your questions. Stop. They need to stop that, mentality. Like, stop trying to make your prior movie better with the one that's coming in the future.
Well, in Prometheus, they tried to make a big deal of the engineers. And then when they get to Covenant, it's like, oh, I'm just going to kill all the engineers, whatever, fuck them.
They did that because Ridley Scott thought that just people wanted xenomorphs. So he's like, well, we're just going to fucking mess with xenomorphs this whole time.
We were talking earlier about Chappie and Blomkamp and everything. Like, Ridley Scott needs to sit the fuck down and stop making alien movies, because he hasn't made a good one since the original Alien. So if Blomkamp wants to make a sequel to Aliens, Ridley Scott needs to give it up and let him do it.
I think something will happen. Maybe not in the immediate future, but I think
Maybe they'll team up.
That's just on a back burner, but because Ridley Scott still wants to go for
He still says he wants to make like 3 or 4, maybe 5 Alien movies like he's James Cameron or something, but does anyone want to see like another Alien movie from him, considering the last 2 are fucking bad?
He's also getting up there in age.
Yeah, he's like 80.
Yeah.
Better pump those movies out quick. Better write all those scripts right now.
Well, he's been someone that seems like he's had a movie a year for the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And even this year he had 2 because he has Alien Covenant and All the Money in the World, which just opened up on Christmas.
Yeah. Which looks like a better movie,
Yeah.
I hope.
Then Covenant?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say a better movie because Kevin Spacey got dumped and they put Christopher Plummer in it.
Oh, I forgot. That's the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And also Christopher Plummer looks better in the movie.
I'm excited for. I haven't seen that yet, but
What's your problems with Spider-Man? Is there too much hype around it?
it's just
From Civil
not.
War?
I don't get why everybody's like, "Oh my god, that's like the best Spider-Man ever."
And that's what I heard too. No way, Spider-Man 2 is so much better.
It's like, come on, dude. Like Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton is awesome. He was the only parts that I really loved and actually perked up was when Michael Keaton was on.
But he's always awesome.
Yeah.
In everything that he does, you know what I mean? And yeah, he's a good villain, but I just wasn't sold on it. It didn't do anything that the Amazing Spider-Man didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, like, okay, he's in high school and the kid, does a good job at being...
I mean, that was cool because he's actually close to
Yeah.
the age of Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Not like Tobey Maguire was like 30.
30 being
Yeah.
in high school.
It's just kind of a little, like, I don't know, boring. Like, I was just underwhelmed a little bit,
Yeah, I feel you on that one. I would agree.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Really? Oh.
Like
See, I was always curious what you thought of it because I know you're a big comic book guy.
See, I understand. Like, I understand where you're coming from, but then, like, I enjoy it anyways.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, anytime there's a comic book movie or superhero movie, I'm gonna enjoy it just because it's a superhero movie.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of where I get like there's kind of like a fog. So like I'll enjoy them regardless. I mean, there's a point to like where like if a movie's shitty and it's a superhero movie, I'm not gonna just because it's a superhero movie, I'm gonna be like, oh, it's a good movie still, even if it is shitty. If I know,
yeah, you have a biased opinion.
yeah. But like I mean, if I know a movie is shitty, even if it is a superhero movie, I'm not gonna be like that's a good movie still just because it's a superhero movie.
Okay.
But like I recognize like shit movies, but I think me being more of a fan kind of outweighs the not so goodness, the crappy parts of the movie.
Okay.
So I understand where you're coming from, and I agree with you, but I'm pretty sure I like the movie more than you do. But just because from a fan standpoint, or point of view.
I've never been that big of a Spider-Man guy.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched them all, and I still like Raimi's besides Part 3. Yeah, of course. I like the first Amazing Spider-Man. The second one was not good either. I mean, it has good parts, but it's just wasn't that good. And then this one, I just feel like it's like you said, a little overhyped.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. He did a good job as Spider-Man, but it was kind of it was just. I was expecting to be blown away, especially my friends who went to see it like 3 or 4 times in the theater.
Didn't you say that they skipped Baby Driver to watch Spider-Man again, and you were really upset?
They did. They went to watch something they had already seen, and it was that movie. So.
You know what I had a beef with? Was everyone talking, oh, it's so great, and they're like, oh, Zendaya is so great in the movie, and I'm like, she's in it for less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If she has more than 10 lines, I'll eat my shoe. Like, she's barely in the movie.
Well, she's supposed to be Mary Jane.
I know, but...
Which is crazy.
They're like, oh my god, like she's so good in the movie, and I'm like, was she in the movie? Because I can't put my finger on like more than 3 scenes.
She has like 3 lines.
Yeah.
The one where she's like, "You guys are losers."
Yeah.
Like when they're staring at the girl, and then they're like, I think she calls them losers again when they're at the party, and then her little one-liner thing about like the statue was created by slaves.
That's what I'm saying. Is like a lot of the comedy stuff is very just like so expected. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm surprised nobody talked about Guardians.
I loved Guardians.
2?
Yeah.
It was okay. I thought it was... the first one was way better.
Oh, all the stuff with Michael Rooker. All the stuff with the Rook.
No, those parts were good. That was a nice, like, you get that closure of like why he was an asshole to him and why he kept him. And those are like good parts, like sentimental, and it was really like awesome parts. But I don't know, the whole scene where he turns into Pac-Man was kind of, I was like, but I get it because that's like his brain. That's all he kind of knows.
Yeah, and I mean, like Kurt Russell's reason for like destroying the universe was because why? I was never really.
It's just because he wanted to be everywhere. He wanted to destroy everything, or those seeds were supposed to turn into parts of him, so he would be everywhere. Just so that's why he's called Ego, so he could just be everywhere.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
I still loved it. I thought it was great. It's got probably the best opening credit sequence of any film this year.
Oh yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, I have to say so.
I mean, the music's good on both of them.
Yeah,
the first one was awesome.
Yeah, I liked both soundtracks. They're really good, and that's another one that kind of has that like deep. It's got some deep cuts.
Yeah.
For the soundtracks, and some stuff that you wouldn't expect.
All right, guys. I think we gotta get out of here.
Yeah, man.
Did you give us your biggest disappointment?
What was it? Children, shut up. Yeah, my biggest disappointment was, it was funny because I was going to mention Spider-Man, but I decided not to because I was like, no, I enjoyed it, but not enough to be a disappointment. But The Hitman's Bodyguard.
Oh yeah,
it was a shit movie. Oh my god,
it's funny because that was a big hit too.
You mentioned before we started, you talked about how Ryan Reynolds is always Ryan Reynolds.
He's the same character.
He's the same character, and I don't know, just the way. For me, there's supposed to be some type of love interest between him and his ex-girlfriend or whatever, and he's supposed to there's supposed to be like intimate scenes where they're talking to each other, and you don't feel the connection between them. And for me, that kind of just took me out of the movie. And I noticed a lot of times when those scenes would come up, or when he'd start talking about stuff like that, I would go straight to my phone and just go on Instagram or something until the scene was over, because it would take me out of the movie, and I wouldn't. And the only good thing is the only good parts of the movie are him and Sam Jackson, but they're in it the whole time, but like the good things about them is like their banter back and forth, and that's it. And the rest of it is.
I thought the movie was good.
Did you?
Yeah,
I didn't like it.
The action's nuts. It's
the action's cool.
It's almost like on the par with John Wick, like some of the fight.
Really?
Like
I wouldn't say that, dude.
Like the choreography and stuff.
I don't know.
I remember.
I don't know. I mean, I watched it the other day, but.
It's fun. Like it's funnier, and
I thought it was going to be like when I saw the trailers for it, I was like, "Oh man, this movie looks awesome!" Like they're making fun of the bodyguard and stuff like that. And then I watch it, and I was like, "Oh, like it was all right." I'm like,
"Oh, I don't know." Well, I guess we'll.
I got it for Christmas because it was like one of the movies I asked for, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be so cool! Thank you so much." And I watched. I'm like, "Damn, I wish I could return this." I was like, "I've seen it now, so I can just." It's going to sit on my shelf for probably maybe another 2 or 3 years before I watch it again.
I still don't know why it came out on video and never on Netflix. It was a Netflix original.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's weird.
Well, no, I mean they made good money because it came out in August and it had zero competition for about 3 weeks until it came out.
But yeah, that's my personal biggest disappointment. I don't know. You liked it, but
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
Sam Jackson, he wins me over. You know, it's funny, dude.
Motherfucker. I mean,
yeah, the shit that he says in this is absolutely.
I watched that movie with my grandparents. And my grandma was like, "Oh my god, I've never heard a movie cuss so much in my life." Because them back and forth is just like, "What?"